Okay,
Boom, there we go. Sweet.
cool. How's it going?
It's going okay.
It's
It's
going
all right
okay.
today. The
Okay.
weather's nice today.
It's super nice here too. It's supposed to snow and be crummy tomorrow, and it's like 70 right now. So,
I know it's like you're probably a little warmer than us. I think it's like 65.
where,
Maybe it's probably cooling off now. The sun's going down. So,
right. Where are
but
you
where
at?
were you? Wausau, Wisconsin area?
Okay. I'm in Sturgis,
Weston.
South Dakota.
Okay. Okay. I thought I was gonna ask. I thought it was Iowa or something. But you're like over there, kind of like. So
I'm
last year we went to that.
way
Me
over
and my
there.
wife went to the Wild West
Yeah.
Songwriters Fest. Were you there?
No, I wasn't. I was supposed to be part of it, but then I ended up having to go down to Nashville that same week, so I didn't get to be there. But I hope I will this
Gotcha.
year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Did you just attend or did you participate?
I was like part of that regional thing. Is that what
Cool.
you were going to be a part of, or were you going to play the festival or just attend it?
I think he was gonna have me do a couple different acoustic showcases at like two or three different places, but then it
Cool.
just didn't pan out. So,
Cool.
but
It
that's
was
okay. I
fun.
hope I
It
get to
was
do it this
fun.
time. Sweet. So, how did you become a member of the org? Because I don't think you were part of it last year, were you?
Since
Or the year?
2022, I was a part
Okay,
of it.
so
You're
two.
talking like the Midwest, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like 2022.
Okay.
That's kind of like when I recorded my first song with Greg Huberty, and then
Hmm.
I kind of joined after that. And
Cool.
I knew it's been around. I think Greg was trying to get, I know not Greg. Some people were trying to get me joined before that. And, like years before that. And I just had so much stuff going on and life and moving and stuff like that. I never did. So then I kind of did once I recorded that first song with Greg, which was called Painting Pictures. So,
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I've only been part of it for about the same amount of time, actually.
really?
Yeah,
I know
about
it's weird. Like some people
less than
go
a year,
like in a
less than
streak
two.
of posting in there a lot or sharing more stuff.
Yeah,
And then you don't hear some people as much from some people as much. And yeah. So,
I know. I was trying to look back at like who is part of it and who's been part of it longer for some of these Zoom calls, and I was like, man, there's a lot of people that I need to reach out to because even in the last 2 years, I've never gotten to know them or talked to them. And then, especially being way over here in South Dakota, there's really not very many CMO artists way on this side of the state, or really in South Dakota at all. So
really?
yeah,
Wasn't Tristan was part of that
yep,
festival?
yep,
He's over there, kind of close. Is he kind of close to you? A couple hours
yeah,
away, I think
yep,
he said.
yeah. Tristan and Colin Donnelly, he's across the state, so he's like 5 hours from me, but he's still a South Dakotan. And then,
He is. I thought he was in
yep,
Wyoming, or is
nope,
he from Wyoming originally?
I don't know, maybe
I don't know. I thought that's what he said or somebody said when I was at the Wild West thing because he was there too.
he may have been from
Yep.
Wyoming. And then Bubba Starts is in Sioux Falls, and which is the same area Colin's in. So he's from South Dakota as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So, anyways, how's your music world? What are you doing? Are you releasing stuff? Do you got anything you're pushing right now? Sorry, my
So
corgi's
you
like
got a dog
in the
too? Okay,
background.
I was gonna say you might
Yes.
hear like a hound. You might hear a hound howl
Okay,
at some
so
point. And
I
then
live
I
on a
think
ranch and my dad is driving by in the tractor like right now and he hears him.
you might hear a baby crying too. I think I
Aw.
just heard. I don't know if you could hear it, but anyway,
Mm-mm.
so you
Yeah,
asked
what did I ask?
I
Do you
know.
have anything
I
you're
should have.
anything you're releasing in the near future? Anything you're
And
pushing right now?
right now kind of just coasting, I guess I should say. I don't know. I might do the plan. I don't really have any plans for this year. Last year I released I released 3 songs and I'd like to do 3 this year too, but if I do, I might do them. I don't know. It's like I might do some stuff that acoustic stuff and then
Yeah.
release like 3 of those. Something a little more simple with good production, maybe add in a couple other instruments as well.
Yeah.
Just acoustic with a little bit of something to kind of give it a little flavor. And then I do end of this year, early next year, I'd like to go to Nashville and work with a producer that I worked with early last year, about a year ago, and do a couple, two, three, 1 or 2 songs probably with him. I'd like to do 3, but stuff gets expensive.
It
So
does. It gets expensive in a hurry. Who do you work with down there?
So well, like in Minnesota, I worked with Greg Huberty. He's part of the org, and
Yep.
I've done three full produced singles with him, and then he did some work on an acoustic song I did last year. He didn't track it. We just sent him some of the stuff, and then he put it together, mixed it, mastered it. And but down in Nashville, I work with a guy named Keegan Farrell, and it's actually funny because he did. Let's see, he did. I worked with him. He found me through like Facebook Reels, and I
Cool.
when he reached out to me the first time, I thought he was just like trying to get new people to work with. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, "No, man, I actually like your stuff." And like we kind of felt him out, and we talked for a while. And he was just super easy to work with, and everything went really well. I thought with that song we did, which was it's called "If I Knew What I Know Now,"
Hmm.
and so yeah, I reached out to him. But after that, then like three people I know worked with him after that that are from, well, one of them was from Wisconsin, and then a friend of mine from Pennsylvania worked with him as well and recorded a song with him. So it's kind of cool.
That is really cool. Really cool. So, how many songs do you have out total now?
I don't know if you get some of them. I did like these live tracks I released a couple years ago. I probably should take some of them down to be honest. There's one. I mean, I don't know, but like full produced songs, I'd have like one, two, three, like four or five. I guess you could say five if you include one I released in 2018. But I'm
Yeah.
not really. That one might go away too. I took some other stuff down I released back then too, but just
Aw.
because I think the whole vibe kind of changed. I think they're still on YouTube. I just took them off of Spotify and Apple, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's some stuff floating around out there from then. That's, I
What
don't
would you
know,
say your vibe is?
interesting.
Like, what's your style or who's your influence?
That's a good question. I don't, my vibe, um, I like to have my music even when it is full produced. I like to have it like more acoustic driven. So
Hmm.
that's kind of one thing that I like, just because I play most of my shows solo acoustic, so then it's easier to transition into that,
Right.
and I never have a full band. I have a lead guitar player that joins me every once in a while. That's it. And as far as like inspirations, I'd say I like a lot of Riley Green stuff, Josh Thompson. I've always been like when I was younger and like 10 years ago in high school, I used to listen to a lot of like Jason Aldean and some of like the older Brantley Gilbert stuff is kind of what I was listening to when I first started writing songs. But
Cool.
I wouldn't say like maybe you can kind of see some of that in my stuff. I'm
Mhm.
not sure. So
Well, now that I know that, I'll have to go back and re-listen and see
yeah, I don't know.
what I think. See who your influences are, in my opinion. That's cool
Yeah,
though.
it's weird though. Like I'll be playing a gig and like someone will be like, "Oh, like something that you did reminded me of like Keith Urban or like Kenny Chesney," which like yes, I've listened to those people growing up, but like I never was like super obsessed with them where I'd
Right.
be like listening to them all the time.
Right.
So I always think that's funny because it'll be like somebody that yeah,
Kind of
people I don't know people like when you're playing live shows, people say some crazy stuff.
they
So
do. They really do. Yeah, people are people are funny.
what's the craziest thing you've been asked?
Oh man. What is some of the craziest things? I'd have to think about that. I did get in on a proposal, which had nothing to do with my music, but at the time, I think it was St. Patty's weekend, actually. And this guy came up to me and said he wanted to propose to his girlfriend, and I was like, at first I didn't know if he was just drunk and like not gonna actually do it, or I wasn't sure if he was gonna follow through or not. And so I was like, okay. And he wanted, I don't know, he asked me for a certain song, and of course we couldn't do it. So I was like, okay. And so I turned around to the band because I have a full band, and I was like, let's do my church, and I'm gonna like get everybody clapping or whatever, and I'm gonna see if I can crowd control and make like a circle or something for this guy. And the whole time I'm thinking like he better follow through. So I start like getting everybody clapping, because the beginning of that song's kind of acousticy or whatever. And then I asked him to make a circle, and sure enough, he did it, and she said yes, and it was a whole thing. And so that was really, really cool and really unexpected. I've never been part of anything like that before, but so yeah,
Nice.
that's one of the crazier things we've been part of.
And you said she said yes, right?
Yeah, she did.
That's good.
Or she said yes at the time. I don't know. And then
I
she's
had
probably
someone
like,
ask me that one time too to do something like that, and they like just play some love song, and I'm like, well, I got a lot of those, so I gave the dude like three options, and I think he picked, in case you didn't know, Brett Young,
uh-huh.
and I did that one, and it was weird because it was at like a dive bar, and
Yeah.
there was like barely anybody there. It was like 10 people there, and he did it or whatever. I don't know if I've ever seen them guys since, but she did say yes,
Did she?
but
Yeah, that's I've had I've signed some weird things.
oh
Uh
boy,
we had we had this show that we played in Colorado, and um there was like this space between the stage, and it was at a rodeo arena, so there was like a 5 foot gap between the stage and where the arena started, and the crowd was in the arena and we were on the outside. And somehow it started this whole trend of like handing stuff across for me to sign, which was super cool. And then suddenly I was like, had a ping pong paddle, and I had an inhaler, and and like a bunch of phone cases, which that's not really still off the wall, but the inhaler, I'm sure I will never sign anything like that again.
that's good though. People are interested then.
It was funny. We were dying. I was like, "Did you really hand me an inhaler?" But it was cool. So, yeah, you just never know what you're gonna come run into for live shows anywhere. The least expecting.
For sure, and sometimes you don't know what kind of a venue you're walking into either.
Right. Sometimes it can be the worst little dive thing and it turns out to be the best, and sometimes you have these expectations of being, this huge awesome thing, and then you go, "Wow, that was not anything like I thought it was going to be."
Oh, for sure. Like I've had it where like there's like somebody local or somebody within, I guess you could say like within Wisconsin that I kind of like, not necessarily like, I guess you could say like looked up to because like they're booking a lot of live shows and they're playing all the time and you're kind of like I want to do what they're doing like when you're first starting out.
Right.
And then finally you get to that point where you're doing that and then you're like, well, they're playing this one venue. Like I contacted them every year for the last 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And that venue never books me. They never get back to me. And then finally, like one year, that venue gets back to you, and you're like thinking it's like going to be so awesome. And then you go there, and it's like one of the weirdest gigs you've ever played and you're like this wasn't that great. Like that happened one time with me. I don't know, it was last year. I got into this one place I've been trying to get into forever, and
Hmm.
everybody talks about it like it's, I mean, it might be better because I played it I think during the week, I think, but maybe on the weekend it's better. But like I played there on a weekday, and I get there and like all the employees were in a terrible mood. Nobody was nice. They're like, oh yeah, you're gonna play over there, but there's people eating there now, so you're gonna have to wait for them before you set up. One of those deals.
Oh
And then it was
man.
like a late start because of that. And then I don't know, it's just a weird deal. Like, and it's like you wanted to play there for so long, and then you
Yeah.
finally play there, or they like reach out to you, and then it's like they don't want to pay you anything, you
Right.
know. But anyway,
Yeah, it's a tough business. It's a tough thing to know like how to pitch and what to say, and you don't want to oversell, but you don't want to undersell or underprice or overprice. It's hard.
yeah, for sure. And like, there's a lot of like this summer, I'm pretty booked up, and it's like I feel like I should have charged more for certain gigs, especially like Friday, Saturdays.
Right.
And but then it's like I know some of these places probably wouldn't have booked it then, which would have been fine because then someone else would have. But then at the same time, it's like some of these places also do music in the winter, and they might be like, well, Jackson charged more, you know, this
Mm-hmm.
time, so like he's probably going to charge it this winter, and they might not book you back, even though in the winter you might play for less. It's just
Yep.
kind of a weird. It's a weird. I just kind of try to keep things super close, like within plus or minus $50 for my solo shows, like
Right.
as a window, because I feel like people, other owners talk and people,
Yep.
will get, if you charge super a lot for one gig and then you charge like way less for another gig, like somebody might find out and then they might get pissed. So,
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, it's a tough thing, but yeah, you got to stay consistent-ish. Otherwise, yeah, you get in some
you know,
predicaments. Do you go out of state?
a little bit. I probably would more if I wasn't married and had a kid. I probably would do it a lot more. But
Yeah.
like I know In 2022, me and my wife went down to Ohio and I was supposed to play 3 shows. One of them canceled last minute, so that was kind of crappy. But we did those two. It was more of a vacation. I mean,
Hmm.
the 2 gigs probably paid for most of the trip. We did some cool stuff. We went hiking, checked out some state parks, things like that.
Cool.
And then we went to Indiana once. I have a friend that lives down kind of by Evansville, and
Hmm.
actually, a dude bought something for me on Facebook Marketplace. He bought some truck parts, and I mailed them to him. And he's like, "Oh, I listen to some of your music. You should come play down here." So that's how I got that gig. And then it turned out my friend lives like a couple miles from where this bar is, so it worked out. So we stayed down there, played that place, and that was cool. And it's not far from Nashville, so I think we went down there for a few days, and then Minnesota a little bit. I've been to Iowa for a handful of shows, and that's about all the places I've been. Oh, and Michigan, like the UP, because that's kind of close to
Oh, yeah.
where I live in a sense. I mean, it's like 2.5 hours away.
Right. Cool. And where are you at? Wisconsin?
Like Wausau, Wisconsin. So like Wausau, I'm in Weston, but it's like a pretty much the same thing. It's like kind of all mixed together, but like it's like pretty much in the center of the state. So like I can go 2 hours north, 2 hours any direction. I'm pretty
Mhm.
much within the state.
Nice.
So that's kind of why I don't really go out of state much
Right. You
because I
don't really
can
need to.
everything's
Yeah.
kind of yeah.
How's the music scene over there? Is it pretty good? Is it more acoustic driven? More,
Oh, there's a lot of everything. It's kind of like a little hidden gem, I think, in a
yeah.
way, because I feel like I play quite a bit of shows and like I do pretty decent, and it took a while to get going, but like I don't know, I feel like after COVID things almost got better for music
Mhm.
here, anyway. And I mean, granted, where I live, there's not much music. There's places that do Friday, Saturday music, but I'm not playing local very often. I'm usually going an hour to 2 hours away almost every gig.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of acoustic stuff, a lot of like there's a lot of cover bands that play quite often around the area and things like that. And a lot of different genres too. There's a lot of country, a lot of unique stuff, a lot of pretty much every genre you can think of. There's something going on in Wisconsin, it seems like. So
Is We Fest in Wisconsin?
it sounds familiar, but I have no idea where it would be. Do you know where that is?
I,
I'd pull up like another screen. I guess I could look on my
it's
phone.
okay.
I'm
I
just
just
I've
I
heard
hear
of it
about We
before.
Fest all the time, but
What is that? Like
it's
we did you
huge.
say we fest or weed fest?
We just
Like
W-E,
W
We Fest. I know, right?
W E
I suppose
W
we
E.
a weed
That's
fest would be huge too, but um yeah,
well,
I
that is
hear about it
something.
all the
It says
time.
right here. It's camping, um 3 day. It's in Minnesota, it says
Oh,
actually.
Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah, it's
It's like
Detroit
a
Lakes,
huge,
Minnesota, wherever that is.
huge music fest. But
Nice. Is that somewhere you're gonna be playing soon or what?
God, I would love to. They have so many big headliners for that. It's insane. I would love to have a chance to get on there as an opening act sometime, but no, no, we're not headed that way. I don't have anything in Minnesota, and it's kind of tough, like price point wise, because that's at least 8 hours for me.
Oh yeah, you're like way
So
out there. You
yeah,
said Sturgis, right? So like
yeah. So
where do you play over there? Like is there a lot over there? Because I know like I talked to Tristan and he said he's driving quite far.
mm.
And he also well, you can answer the question. He said something funny that I gotta
Oh,
say.
okay.
I don't think he'll care. I don't think it was I think it was him and somebody else might have said it. I don't know. But go ahead. So
Yeah,
like where do you play like how far do you have to go? That's what I asked.
I would say most of our gigs have to be 1 to 3 hours away. We do a lot of Nebraska stuff, actually.
Okay.
There's a
Yeah,
lot
there
of,
was like something going on from Nebraska, people from there.
yeah.
What for the
Yeah,
Wild
there's
West thing? There was a
that's
group of
a
people.
really great they have a really great music scene in Nebraska. So a lot of that is where we did a ton of Nebraska stuff last summer. There's North Dakota's hit and miss. Sometimes there's great stuff going on, sometimes not at all. That's more like events rather than continuous music at
Hmm.
venues. And then Wyoming, but that's far and wide and desolate too. So if you're
Yeah,
doing into
people.
Wyoming, you're committed to 3 or 4 hours anywhere as well. So
Is there some cool places though?
there is, I mean, there's they have like the Cheyenne Frontier Days. I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's a big ordeal. That's in the summer in Cheyenne, Wyoming. They have uh I've never been, but like in the Saratoga area is a huge deal. We're like 30 miles from the Wyoming border, but to get to anything that has much of a music scene, we're still looking at 3 hours probably. So
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of driving. Do you usually drive
it
back then
is.
or do you stay the night?
Oh no, we usually stay the night because most of our shows end up being, 9 to midnight or whatever, and it's like, no, we're not driving home at 3 in the morning. It's not worth it. So, and a lot of the venues actually are willing to throw in hotel.
Oh, really? That's
So
cool.
if you ask, yeah, or at least be like, this is what we'd normally charge, but if we can get rooms out of the deal, we can do this or whatever. So I just heard the dog.
I was gonna say, like, I'm trying to figure out how to split the screen different for like my viewing, but I can't figure it out. Yeah, this dog's in here. You can hear his, and you probably hear the my son too.
Yep,
He'll
I
probably
just
come
heard a
say
little bit.
hi. Shut the door. And Doodle's in here. We got two dogs, so the little guy that's
Aw.
in here.
I did
I
have
thought
two.
I had the door shut, but it wasn't. Um, yeah, so that's cool. Like I should ask that for venues more to like stay
Yeah,
somewhere. But
there is
I don't know. I
some.
don't
A lot
mind.
of them have a band house that
Yeah,
if
some
there's
places
someone
do
that
do that.
if it's a venue that has live music constantly, they usually have some kind of band house. But so, what did Tristan say?
Oh, you remembered that. Okay, yeah.
I
So
did. I
he was
have to
like,
know.
I swear it was him. I shouldn't say it because he might watch this, but I swore he said something like we are at that cigar place and they were
Yep.
doing like this open jam thing during that festival. And
Uh-huh.
we were talking and he was like, yeah, I went to Wisconsin once and it's just crazy because you guys are from South Dakota. And
Yeah.
he's like, it's just crazy that every like couple miles there's a town and a bar and like five bars. There's like a town and then you go a little further and there's another town and he's like, here, you can drive for 2 hours and there's nothing. He's like, in Wisconsin, it's crazy. There's
Yep.
bars everywhere in Wisconsin. There's like a little town I played. There's a town called Freedom, Wisconsin, super small town. And they have a lot of, I used to play there a lot. Almost every bar does live music there, it seems
Mhm.
like. But like within like a couple miles, there's probably like 12 or 15 bars. It's crazy. It's
Wow.
just a small little town.
That is really
And a lot
crazy.
of them, I bet out of 15 of them, probably like six or seven of them are doing music like every week.
Really? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's crazy. But like, yeah, and then somebody else out there was like, I was talking like, because we went to Wyoming to that Devil's Tower,
Hmm.
which is close to you, right?
Yep.
And we're driving on those roads back there. And I mean, it's like, they're just two lanes, but they're
Right.
like, what, 65 you can go as a speed limit. So we're
Right.
going 65, 70, and like the roads just kind of curve everywhere. And you could probably go faster, but there's like these. We have my wife's car. She has like a Chevy Malibu,
Mhm.
and there's like people in these like F-350s, like just blowing by us like 90 miles an hour on these roads. It was crazy. And I'm like, I talked to somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, we just go as fast as we can out here."
Yeah,
That's what they said.
pretty
I'm like, all
much
right.
because it just takes forever to on those roads. Like it's not even logical to drive 65. It just
Yeah.
goes on, and it'll take you all day to get somewhere if you do that.
So like I never been to Sturgis. I know it's close to like Deadwood, but like do
Mhm.
you is it like really scenic there where you live, or is it more
Yeah.
just like fields and like like hills or like
Nope,
because
it's
there's in
really
like
scenic. Yeah.
it's what?
So it's really scenic. So when you
Okay,
were in
sweet.
Deadwood, you were only maybe 10 miles from Sturgis, 10 to
Okay.
15. You were really close. So yeah, our side of the state, the western side is really pretty like that. And then the eastern side is really flat and lots of fields and lots of farmland and
It's
nothing like
not
that. So
That's like
yeah,
what Nebraska's like, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have the nice part for sure.
We talked to some people when we were down over there. from Nebraska. We're hiking. It was either Devil's Tower. We did another hike too, somewhere, and these people are like, "Oh, so you're from Wisconsin? Like, how do you live there? Like, you can't even see the sunset or the sunrise. You get so many trees." He's like, and I'm like, I'm thinking, like, how do you guys do this? Like, because they're from Nebraska, so I'm like, how do you guys do this? Just flat fields,
Right.
or
Yeah.
prairie, whatever they call it.
Yep. For miles and miles of nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. We're yeah, Colin and Bubba live on the crummy side of the state.
Flat side of the state.
Yep.
I thought Bubba was from Minnesota, doesn't he? He has a lot of stuff over there, don't he?
Yeah, because
Or am
for
I thinking
him,
wrong?
no, for him, the Minnesota border is probably only an hour and a half away or something. So
Oh
he's
wow,
able to do a lot more over there. But yeah, he is still in South Dakota. So
nice.
yeah, you'll have to come out for something else other than the Wild West Fest. Maybe
It's a
rally
long
some year or
drive.
something. I know.
I want to say it was 12 or 13 hours.
Was it worth it though?
It was fun. It was nice to have a weekend off of playing shows and doing some other things and meeting some cool people.
Oh,
Um, yeah. Are you going to the awards show next month?
yes. Are you?
You are for the first time. Yeah, I'm
Cool.
going.
Cool.
I was gonna say we're. I trying to get my wife to go, but we'll see if she comes with.
It's a fun time.
Yeah,
I've only attended once just last year, but it was cool.
nice.
It's so cool to get to see and meet everybody in the first place, but it's really inspiring. You leave there and you're like, wow, I really want to just like hit this hard. And that's how I felt when I left last year. And so it was like a
Nice.
whole push. I did so much this year, and I really attribute it to being there and being like, wow, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, let's go. Let's get some stuff accomplished.
So you do. Wait, no, you said you do. What do you do for work? Because you said you do something
So
else too, right?
I'm a hairstylist. Yeah, during
Oh, you get to like pick your own hours and too,
oh
kind
yeah,
of.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. And I actually was doing hair before I started doing music, so it just worked out because then I can be like, hey, I'm leaving. See you later.
Yeah, and you kind of like are you your own boss? 'Cause I know there's different ways, like different
Right.
types of places that
Yeah,
do
so
that.
I just do booth rent. So I just rent my space and I can make my schedule and come as and go as I please. And
Nice. So if you have a gig and you have to leave on like a
yep,
Thursday, like you
yep,
can do that. That's
I can
cool.
just bail out. Yeah.
And
So
I used to
that really
do
worked out well.
I used to do auto collision back. Well, I mean, I haven't done that in a while now, but I used to do that. And one boss I had, the one of the place I worked at always like did not like. He would be like, "You got to pick what you're gonna do."
Mhm.
And he might have been right, but he didn't like when I had to leave at like 2 o'clock to go play somewhere.
Yeah. But I'm sure that your passion is way more in the music than it ever was in collision stuff, huh?
I don't know. It is. I mean, I'm a big car guy, so I mean, I
Yeah.
like doing that too. But like, I wouldn't want to do it full time again
Right.
ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really not good for your health either and your body. So that's all
No.
right. Yeah. I don't know. Like after doing music like full time now for like, would it be like 3, 4? It'll be 4 years this summer. It's kind of like I need some kind of a reset. I feel
Mhm.
like more like drive and like motivation to like write more, learn new songs, things like that. And
Well, I guarantee if
yeah,
you
it's
attend
just
that award show, that's going to be exactly what you need.
really. I mean,
Get
I have
feedback.
like so many ideas to write. Like I in the last couple of 3 months, I probably wrote a good handful of songs, but like I start them and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a good idea. It worked out really good. And then I just kind of like don't work on them anymore. And then like one random day I'll work on it again and be like, why did I stop working on that song? That's a cool tune. But that's kind
Yeah.
of how things been going. But also a lot of things changed since I started doing this full time. So like with
Yeah. Yeah.
life things. So
Is your wife musical?
no,
No.
complete opposite. I don't know, not really. I shouldn't say that. Then she likes music. She likes music, but
Yeah.
she's not like into it. Like I could ask her like, "What do you think of this song?" or something like that I
Right.
wrote, or "How does this sound?" and she'll be like, "I'll play something two different ways."
Yeah.
Like, "What does this sound better for this part of the song?" And she'll be like, "They both sound the same," you know? Or or she'll be like, yeah, she's just not like she likes music and she'll know what a good song is, but like at the same time,
Right.
it's yeah. And I think most people can say that are musicians at least. I mean, some people are with people that are musicians, but
Right. I think it's nice because then you have the perspective from both sides before you make music changes or career changes, or before you put something out to the world, you can be like, okay, from a musician's point of view, this is this. But from someone that's would just be um, you know, just a listener or whatever, like I think that's a good resource to have.
yeah, that's always a hard thing. Like, I mean, I guess I like to like when you choose a song to record and stick a bunch of time into. I feel like that's always a hard thing because you can send it to, like if I send it to a producer or somebody like a studio person, they'll be like, they always have something to say,
Hmm.
which is good because that's what their ears for and like what they do
Right.
for work. But they'll tell you usually if it's a good song or not, and if it's worth recording.
Right.
But sometimes I've sent a couple songs I've liked, like I've just wrote them and I did like a little work tape and I'll send it to them or somebody on that, that does like producing and stuff, and they'll be like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this song, and I'll be like, oh, I really like it though, I just wrote it. And then like a couple months go by and then you kind of just get sick of it too, so it was like,
Right.
okay, that song really wasn't it. But then there'll be songs that there was one I wrote, I want to say it was like a month ago probably, I wrote that I really like, and it's been stuck in my head. I'll be like in the shower and I'll start singing the chorus because I like it. And
That
I haven't
sounds
really worked on it much since I wrote it, but like it's been a month since I wrote it, and I could literally tell you all the lyrics right
and
now.
it's
It's like in my head.
yep.
And that tells me that that's probably a good song that people like, because if I can remember it after barely working on it and writing it,
Yep.
that it's other people will catch on and relate.
Yeah. There's definitely something
So,
catchy about it, that's for sure. That's
but it's
awesome.
always hard. It's always hard though to pick the right song because you could ask
It is
20 different people and they're all going to say something different,
different.
you
Yep.
know? So,
I know. It's yeah, at some point I think you just have to stay true to what you feel your vibe is, and what you want to portray to the world as you know,
right,
as an
right.
artist.
Like what fits what your goal is.
Yeah,
Like what do you want people to feel when they're listening to your
exactly.
songs, and where do you want it to go? I feel like
Yeah.
there's a lot of songs that are, like what am I trying to say? So many songs that are like about the same thing that keep
Mm-hmm.
coming out in the last 5, 6 years. So I
Yep.
think it's kind of cool to have like a shift of different music. Like some of these songs I've been writing recently, honestly, could fall into like a Christian country
Yeah.
genre that I've been writing recently. Yeah, and
Cool.
so I don't know. We'll kind of see where that goes. I've been kind of writing a lot more family oriented type songs about just being a dad. I wrote a couple like that recently, and things like that, a little different that you don't really maybe hear on the radio or things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So
That's awesome. I think people that like accepting the outliers, or the kind of off the normal trail, is becoming more and more. So it's a good time to hone in on your individuality.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm really good at writing songs like love songs or like songs like that, like feeling like
Hmm.
songs like more emotional songs, like
Yep.
sad songs, but at the same time, I don't know if I really like sad songs either. I don't know.
Sad songs
I,
are
I mean,
way
I like
easier to
sad
write than
songs, but
bangers.
I know they're so easy to write because you get all up in your emotions about
Yep.
something and you can just write it down. Like me and
Yep.
my wife can get in an argument and I can just write a song. Like
Yeah.
it's and some of my wrote are good too. Like there's one, I don't know what it's called anymore, but I wrote it like about a year ago. We got in an argument or something, and I came in here and I sat down with my guitar, shut the door. I think I even put these headphones on just so I couldn't hear her.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote this song, and I forget what it was called, but it's so good. I think it's good. Like I'll play it through sometimes, just looking at
Yep.
the lyric on my computer. Yeah, it's a good song, but I probably never do nothing with it. It was just kind of something I wrote for myself just to get my feelings out,
Right, right.
and no one will probably ever hear it. So
Those are
I don't know.
those are the
We'll see.
best ones, man. I've learned that the more vulnerable you are, the more success you'll have. Really.
That's true.
It's
That's true.
it's very hard. Very, very hard. There was like when I was putting this album out, that I just did. It was like I didn't want anybody to hear any of it or anything until it was completely mixed, mastered, done, released. Like I didn't want my family to hear it. I didn't want to be, giving my boyfriend like any, you know, any of the lyrics or anything. I'm like, nope, nope, I'm keeping this to myself until it's completely done because it's kind of the same thing like you were talking when you bring someone pitch an idea and you have this like vision in your head and then you don't get that reciprocated. It's like, oh man, but
Yeah, or
it's
yeah,
hard it's hard for them to see the final like vision if it's only just a work tape or just a couple lines or whatever. But then when you
yeah,
get
because
it completely put together, then they're like, oh yeah, I really like this.
yeah, because they're not hearing or seeing or envisioning the same
Right.
thing that you are. Like you're gonna be like knowing what direction you want to go with something, and they
Yep.
might be thinking something. It's kind of like with co-writing. Like you walk
Right.
into, and I don't co-write much. I've never had much good luck with it to this point. Um, ever. I don't really try. But for a while, I tried to do co-writes, and I just
Yeah.
people didn't show up and stuff. But like, or one time I didn't show up. I think for somebody because I forgot. I don't know. But anyway, uh, like you'll kind of come in with this idea, or you might have like a first verse started or something, and like
Hmm.
you're thinking this direction, and then you show them the idea, and they're thinking this direction. And I feel like sometimes if you do co-write, it's better to come in with just a line or like a title of a
Right.
song or
Right.
an idea, and then you both build on it because it's like if you already started something, it's
Yep.
so hard to agree
Yep.
on the next lyric or the next verse because you guys are thinking different.
Yep.
That's you got, but you got to get in with the right person too to hang with and vibe with to write a song too. So,
Right. I've only done a
but
co-write a couple times and I would like to do it again for sure. But yeah, if you're already like married to an idea, it's
yeah,
probably
and
not.
it's really weird because all the ones I tried doing were like on Zoom like this, and it's just
Oh,
kind of
really?
like I'm even kind of uncomfortable now because I haven't done this in a while. I used to do this all the time. Like, so when I quit doing auto body, I did personal training for a while, and I
Hmm.
did a lot of online fitness coaching, and I
Oh,
used to do
cool.
like one-on-one videos like this with climbing. This was like 3 years ago, 4 years
Yeah.
ago, and I haven't done this in a while, so I'm just kind of like this is kind of awkward, but I'm really good at talking in person, but like for the most part, but
Yeah.
I'm a chatty person,
That's
and I'm
good.
kind of
That's
like a squirrel. I get like ideas and I go off here and there, but
Hey, that's not
yeah,
a bad thing at all. I know
I don't know
I
if it is though, because like when I try writing stuff, I do that too. I'll start writing a song and then I'm like, well, what about that song I started a couple weeks ago? And then I'll click on that one and I'm like writing that one, but I'm like, wait, I just started writing this song. So then I go back to that one and it's crazy.
wherever the inspiration goes because you never know what's going to come out and it may just be a line or maybe all of a sudden you thought you were in the mood to write this, but then all of a sudden you're in this mood to take off on this thing and
For
before
sure.
you know it, you have three-quarters of a song and that's not even what you intended on. So, yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
You sit down and so whatever you're feeling, you might start finishing an idea you started 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Oh no, we froze.